Hello everyone, it's Cindy from Cinders Papercraft. I'm just going to shift you along a little bit so you can hear me. People recently have been saying that they haven't received notifications when I do video. What you're going to need to do is somewhere it says subscribe and then you've got a bell. So if you click it once, it will say notify me occasionally, or it will say notify every time. So you need to put it on the every time. I'm not sure if YouTube have just changed that, but that is certainly why some people aren't getting the notifications when they used to. I think it probably has something to do with the new e-law of privacy. I don't know. But if you're not getting notifications, press the bell to see what it says. And if it says all the time, great. But just get back to either all the time or occasionally. Right, so when I done one of my, I'm going to show you what I've got. I bought these washi tapes from Altenew. I've been lusting after one of these blue flower ones, but I am a sucker for a sky. I make my own galaxy backgrounds and I love them. I love everything about the stars. I like astronomy, all sorts of things. So this really sparked off a rather happy time for me. When you see the difference between normal washi, which is your normal everyday washi, there's nothing small about this. This is the average size. But you can see the difference. So here is the thing. I'm not sure if these are just meant for scrapbookings or they are used for backgrounds. And I've used them for backgrounds. So that's what we are going to do. And I'm going to show you some little bits and pieces. But first, as you know, or may not know, if you know me and you watch me. Oh yeah, by the way, these little bits that are missing, it's because I get overzealous and start fiddling with things when I shouldn't. I had an awful week last week, and I lost someone who meant the world to me, and then my little Sammy, who is my boy fur baby, got pancreatitis and all his nose blew up. So he stayed overnight in the doggy hospital. And then I found out my mum had been admitted with pneumonia. And that was just in 1 week. So one of my regular, well, I said I don't like regulars. That sounds like a pub thing. One of my friends, I come home and there was this box. It was a really tall box and you could see that there were flowers in it. And I assumed it was my husband. So I said, oh, thank you. He said, they're not from me. I thought, oh, great. But look, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can even get this beauty anywhere near. If you could see these, I can't get them in view properly. But can you see how precious these flowers are? And you're only seeing one tiny fraction. This really is a huge bouquet. And it got me wondering who would send me, first of all, a beautiful bouquet. And it turned out to be one of my friends, Angela, who I've known now for quite a while, actually, thinking about it. But she done it just because I'd had a bad week. And she said, well, I'm sure you've had lots of presents and that, but I hadn't, but that wasn't what it was about. So I done this one-to-one where I send a personal video and only one person can access it, the person you give the link to. And she sent me a lovely email back, but it really upset me. not because she had done anything wrong, it's because it had made her cry because I had actually said thank you and had taken the time, and that, you know, she'd never received that. And it got, I then started to go back on our emails, because that's why I know we've known each other, and it just upset me that someone who is so open and generous could be so not unloved, because that's not fair, but if you do something for someone, I feel that you should have gratitude and love. You know, that is a genuine thing. If you help a friend helps a friend. And it seems like she helped all her friends, but when it come to her time, her friends didn't bother. So, Angela, I say in public, thank you very much, my darling. They are beautiful and they are still in bud, as you could see. Right, and as much as I would love to talk more about that, they're in my craft room, so they're nice and safe. I wanted to talk about these washi. Sorry, it does make me a bit, you know. These are the washi powders, and one of washi tapes, and one of my regulars said, oop. She didn't say oop. She said, well, what do you do with it? And a lot of it is scrapbooking. But like I say, I'm using it as a background, and I'm sure that's what it was used for. So I wanted to show you how I've done it. Now I've left two that are wrinkly so I can show you. All the rest are exactly as they've come off. I'm going to do a couple with you so you can see them. I need to do a couple of the plainer ones, even though I just love this. So this one is the watercolor Galaxy Nebula, and that one's the Galaxy, I think, pretty sure, yeah, right, yes. So here's what I wanted to show you. Now you can clearly see wrinkles. This is the perfect time of the day. Everything else is dead straight, and this one has got wrinkles everywhere. Can you see it? Because that was my first one off. So I want to show you. Right, so there is the wrinkle. Gone. It's the most amazing stuff. Right, now. And no, you do not need a silicone bone folder to do this. You need a bone folder. I am going to need to trim that off because that is a fault of mine. Not trimming that off properly. But see, look. Straight. Perfect. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I can highly, highly, highly recommend this. If you're not for the Galaxy ones, I'm going to go back and buy some of the blue flower ones because they're gorgeous, and you can literally just add a sentiment and go. I mean, a cards in seconds, obviously not seconds because I've been going on for a little while. So now with this one, I've cut some more because I know I'm going to use them, plus I'm also going to take some in, I'm going to take them into work and have people buy them for the proceeds to go towards the hospice that my friend died in. So I am currently being very industrious. Right, so this is nice and easy to peel off. If you get it on wrong, you can peel it off. It's just gorgeous. Right, so what I found, you might not find the same, because the first time I done it, I just put it on there, lined it up, and off I went. So you watch me make a hash of this now. So I found it better to lay it on it. like so. And yes, it will need trimming. I'm sorry, but you will find, mind you, if you cut it to the American size, you probably won't need to cut it. I should think it would sit very nicely in there. I mean, you could use it as just part of the skyline, and then just not this one, probably you could do like a hill and have, oh, that's good, it's a nice crease there. You can have like a hill there and have critters looking up. There are so many sky ones at the moment. Well, there have been for ages. And there's certainly a lot of ones with the love you to the moon and back. Right, so now, where's my scissors? Here we go. And we are just going to trim there. And I do trim that one. The rest I will use my trimmer with. Right, now the Nebula, or the Watercolor Nebula, I put that way, which actually is best to leave a little gap. But I can show you how to do it this way as well. Right, so you need to pop that in the corner there, and you can peel this back if it hasn't worked. And I am going to flip that over because, oh no, that was right. See, I shouldn't have doubted myself. But it is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I know I sound uber excited, but it's just so easy. I've never known anything peel up yet remain sticky. Right, so what I am now going to do is, not that, I am going to trim. Sorry, I'm making a really bad, looks like I've got a dirty desk. I'll tell you what, let's do the sensible thing first. Let's take most of that off. And actually, I'm kind of glad because I will use that. And I'm going to trim that bit up as well. And not because I'm going to use it, although I must say, it does look pretty, doesn't it? Even the bits like that. Right, so I am going to just put that in, and I'm going to line up the grey and the grey. Now this Tim Holtz trimmer, I've had this for, well, what seems like ever, and it has never needed resharpening. I think it must be an automatic resharpener, she says, and she makes a hash of that. The trouble is I'm probably getting so much glue on that. If it does it again, I shall just manually cut these. I hope you're all very well, and I do hope the recovery in Florida, is, I'm going to trim these by hand, is going well, because as I said on the previous one, once it comes off the news, people seem to forget. And that isn't a dig at anyone. It's human nature that if it isn't in front of you, you don't always remember it. And I'm numero uno in that one. Simon says we'll often do hurricane relief boxes. Now I try to buy that. I bought the last one, and as soon as they come up, I buy them. And then usually I, not give away the bits, but I'll I will, well, give away the bits, because I don't buy it for the bits, I buy it for the donation. So if they bring out one for there, grab them, because the manufacturers give out very, very generously. And I must say, Tim Holtz, who never really not appealed to me, because that sounds like it's his, he does a lot of mixed media, and I'm kind of not a mixed media girl. But then his distress inks are just, I love them. I absolutely adore his distress inks, and it made me look at him in a different way. And now I have the Distress Resist, which makes galaxies absolutely incredibly easy. She says, holding this, doing it this way. I'm just taking off the worst, and then I shall put it through. But his trimmer is fantastic, and for the price it is, I love my stamping trimmer. I have no problems with it. I do find, because I do craft a lot, more than the average person would think I would. So I go through the blades like crazy, and I do use the tin foil method to keep them sharp, but that only works for so long, and then they just become blunt. It's as simple as that. And when I buy my new ones, I tend to have them in stages. So for any old card that needs to be used, I use one of the kind of medium. If it is going to be out on show, I will use the Perfect blades, because they're not expensive, but when you die cut and trim and to the level that I do, it's just too expensive. Right, so now, as you can see, we got wrinkles. That one we haven't, because that was the one that I laid down. So you just give it a nice rub. Just check it from all angles. Actually, that one there I might use to cover it, because for some reason that isn't, which is so unusual. Might have been something in between that card. Right, so now I have all these lovely backgrounds. Here's another one. I tell you, I thought I'd done all. I think you better sack me. I keep saying that at work, but apparently they won't do it. Right, perfect. So there I have. So here we are. Let's see. I use grey card to do this. I'm really in love with neutrals. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, because that one is embossed, but it is just literally in sparkle. So that's an awful lot of cards. Right, so now I can get rid of some of this, what I call interference, because I will put them onto cards just to prove they're cards and there can be no argument. And I am using, and that one, I am using this one. I've lost the case it comes in, but I know when I showed it before, it is a great big long title and I cannot find its wallet. But I use this one, and it's beautiful. If I could touch a star every time I think of you, I'd have the whole sky. You can do my moon and stars, I love you to the moon and back, and then here there's all sorts of beautiful ones. I like a lot of like the universe. There's some more I've got as well, but I also wanted to show you some bits that I received earlier. So I've had this for quite a while now, and as you know, but they brought out the Big Daddy. The dots I think are great for everyone, but what I didn't realise, if you turn them, you layer them to have a different pattern. Well, it's very strange. Anyway, so what I might do, I think that would probably fit in there, but what I might do is use it to frame these cards after, but I won't put you through that. So what I'm going to do is find some that is full of colour, so I could easily use that, but then I want to find one that's less colourful, because they're just beautiful, you know. Which ones do you pick? That one. I'm probably more of the Nebula type, although that will be lovely. That's a very discreet one. That's a wrinkled one. That one's nice, but I want that one for the bottom. Anyway, I've got these different colours, so it is just a case of stamp and where you choose to stamp it. Now, you don't have to do any universe. You can literally decorate that in anything. You really don't need to do the universe thing. So I've taken a little selection of my, I've already popped my thingy on. I am just going to randomly use, I have got more, but I don't exactly want to bore you to death with all different colours. So what I am doing is sort of picking, you see, I think a nice gold sparkle in the corner there, or you can put one there, turn it, you know, it can be anything you want. But first of all, I'm just gonna take off. Let's do this one at a time. Actually, yeah, no, we will. Right, so you're gonna ink that up with either your Versamark or any other embossing powder, sticky embossing ink. Didn't sound right. Right, so if I'm using gold, it needs to be that way, I think. Right, so I am going to emboss this. I know you should do them all first. Perhaps I will. Perhaps I'll do them and lay them out. Let's see. Let's see how brave I get, eh? It worries me when I get a whole stack of these. So first I'm using Gold Sparkle. Now this is from EnglishStamp.com. Mind, I'm not being funny. If there was any debris on there, it's not exactly the end of the world. Right, so that one's okay. I can put that well out of my way. And then I will put that in there. Actually, put it in that way. Right, and give that a good shake. And now, that is full of colour. So I pretty much think I will go with a white or a lighter colour. So put me powder all over there, and I say I would go for white here or there. Ooh. No, there. I know I'm going to regret it. I'll probably think, why didn't I put it there? But what can I say? Right, so I bought some Altenew white, and we've got the Hero Arts embossing powder in white. Now, I've always been a Hero white girl. However, I think you should try new things now and again. Right, so there's another one. Pop that back in there. And now we are going to go on to that one, which would be what do we think? Should we go with some, yeah, let's go. This is Simon Stamp embossing powder, and it's ultra fine mermaid, and I used that and I really liked it. And I thought, you know, if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Someone somewhere will love it. Not everyone loves the same thing. But see how pretty that is. Yep, perfect. I do have to say, and this comes from a woman that's got 5 or 6 Versamarks, the the Altenew embossing ink is incredible. Right, so I think we're going to get generous, you know, get a bit bold and come over here with some yellow, because there's yellow up there. So if I've done some there, now there will be people out there that are experts on colour. I'm not an expert on colour. I just put a colour I like where I like it. So that's the way I go. Whoop, whoop. Now this one I just literally got off eBay, and it comes in a 10-gram little pot like that, and I think it was about 99p, and I probably bought that, and you're going to think I'm joking, but easily 2 or 3 years ago. Right, I'm going to put that. I'm running out of space. Well, I'm not. I'm just running out of it. So, oh, that might have been nice. That might be nice for that blue. Say yes, Cindy. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my powder on. Usually, I have to say this, and I'm not just saying this, I very, very rarely get, if I forget to put powder on, I very, very rarely forget or get lots of these, but because it's tinsel, actually I think I can get away with that because that's tinsel. I very rarely have a problem if I miss it off. However, that was still stupid. But because it's got the sparkle, it will just look like stars. Right, now I want a nice dark one. And I want to use that Altenew white. And I am literally going to go straight there. What did I forget? Poop. Right. Now, this is how you get out of trouble. Get a bit of stamp cleaner. You do not need a lot of it, especially not when it's ultra fine, and that leaves a fine grease, which is just beautiful. Right, so now take some of your powder so that you don't get static. Oh dear. Well, at least you know you can use your stamp cleaner to get it off, or an eraser. So let's start again. And I don't know why I'm wondering if it's upside down or not, because I can turn it the other way. Not sure at all, but if not, I can do it on another one. Yeah, not bad. Let's just see if I want to go with that. See, half of that on there is actually talcum powder, but no, I use it as the background and just put sentiment on it. See? That was my silly fault. Right, I'm going to use this one. Put powder on. Oh, it's only because I said it doesn't usually matter. You do know that, don't you? But I suppose what I failed to take into account is the fact that when you take the washi off, it creates static. Yes, it does. Yep. And you've got a couple more colours, and then we can call it quits, and you can think, thank goodness. Right, so let's have one of these. I'm going to go there. Actually, let's put it all over. I am actually going to be a bit of a rebel, and I am going to put some pink down there. I am going to make some with others. I'm not going to show that now, but I might show you, well, not I might, I will put some on my blog, which I am just trying to get up and running again. It's been a while. Right, so that's okay. You see, I love making these tutorials. It's the measurements and everything else that I'm bad at, which why when I'm feeling pooey, I sometimes think just make one and then update it when you're feeling better, and then it gets forgotten. And it's not because I'm lazy, it's just sometimes if you get behind, it seems to take forever to get forward again. Right, now this one is going to be the Altenew Platinum. Now I've only ever used Ranger, and I only have a tiny bit of that left, so I'm going to be quite interested to see how that turns out, because if it's a nice one, I have to say I will go with the Altenew one, because it just seems to hold a little more. Right. And yes, that is just baby powder, and yes, it does work absolutely perfectly. I know you're probably wondering why I am using that, because it works. Right, now this is going to be the verdigris. I'm not entirely sure I like it, but colour wise for this, I think it's absolutely perfect, because it's got all those colours. See, all these colours up there. Oh, and when you want to age something, if you just put, I keep a separate one that I can do lots of mixing in to make the perfect colour. And I tell you, some of those mixes I've done have been incredible. Right, one more, and it's going to be the Nuvo. Yeah, let's do that one. And then turn this sound down. I bet everyone was like, put down the powder. Right, so I will ask you to turn your sound down, but once it starts to go, it goes. Ew. Rude. You see, now that has absolutely beautiful detailing. I'm really surprised that sounded awful, but that has incredible detail. I might have to look into this more often. That is quite pretty and very detailed. Right, I'm not going to use that last bit because I can see it's got that verdigris in. Right, now you can emboss onto these papers. I haven't used any special method. I'm going to get this warming up behind me. I haven't used any special methods to keep it from melting it. Oh, I don't remember using that translucent pearl. Perhaps I missed some. Right. Now, I'm a non-wiggler. I don't wiggle around. I see people doing this and I think, do you know what? You're not doing it. You're just literally going to make it walk more. You see that there'll be slight wrinkling there. Once that's done, you'll easily be able to see, this is the platinum one. These will go back to being normal. Right. I can remember the first time I embossed something and it was just like, oh my word, I done that. And I think every single one of us out there that first embossed it was just like, wow, look at what I did. Right, so this is a Simon Says stamp. There's that blue. I hope you can see the magic. I love the transformation. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Right, now this one is the Altenew white. You can compare it. And it will buckle to begin with, but when it cools down, it most certainly will. And if you wanted to just get it sorted out, you just need to hit it from the outside, but no point. This is the pink one. This is the pink sparkly one. But the other ones I'm going to put like little critters. Now this one I think is the blue sparkle one. Yeah, I'm going to have critters looking up into the sky. I think that will look lovely. That one, the wow. Nice ice blue. And we have the little trimmer. Now this I love watching. It just never fails. Never ever ever fails to make me think, wow. Now somewhere is my white. Have I already done this one? No. Is my white one from Hero Arts. But look how vibrant that has come out. It's just gorgeous. So I've lost one. Oh no, there it is. Here it is. Done. Right, so I'm intrigued. What one do you think's better? Do you know what? I think the Altenew's brighter. Or is it just because it's on? But that's interesting. So I'm going to wait till these are cooled down, put some Swiffer over them. I am then going to mount them onto right, sorry, the video cut out on me. So all I was going to say is let me know which one you like. That is the Hero Arts. That is the Altenew. And then we've got the Verdigris. And we've got the gold tinsel. What was that? I can't remember. Just say the white. White will do. Yellow, pale blue, and don't worry, this all shrinks back, trust me. Pink. I like that one. That's that platinum. That is the Altenew white. Sorry, the other ones were from my other batch that I had already. That is definitely the Altenew white. Look how bright that is. And then we've got the blue, which is just the plain blue. And we've got the Simon Says stamp blue. So let me know which one you like. And I will put pictures up. But let's just say we've made quite a few cards here in a little while. I should just embellish them with bits and bobs and they'll look really pretty. So it's not a quick one. I'm sorry. I appreciate every second you spend with me. I am actually working on something really exciting. Something that is just going to be perfect for Christmas or any gift you're ever going to give to anyone. Right. I will say ta-ta for now. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I know it's hard when you've got a family or you're working. I don't take you for granted. Well, you're my friends, so I will just say thank you very much